To an online news headline that really caught our attention. I'll read it for you. It says, could Benadryl and Sudafed be pulled from pharmacy shelves? FDA to review common over-the-counter cold meds due to concerns they're useless. So here's the thing. The headline comes from the Daily Mail, which is a British tabloid and sometimes exaggerates. The headline is a bit deceiving. Here's what we know tonight. The FDA has scheduled a meeting, as you can see in this public notice, to look at a particular ingredient called phenylephrine. I messed that up. The doctor's going to pronounce it correctly, though. It's in some types of decongestants like Sudafed PE. We have a lot of questions about this, including how to pronounce that. So we turn to Dr. Stanley Schwartz with the Division of Allergy, Immunology, and Rheumatology at UB's Jacobs School of Medicine. First off, doctor, I practiced pronouncing that, and I still messed it up.
You did.
I did.
It's phenylephrine.
Yes. Tell us what that is and what medicines it can be found in. What should we know about it?
Oh, it can be found in nasal sprays, nasal drops, and in preparation H. It's supposed to constrict blood vessels. And if your nose is swollen, or for those poor souls who have hemorrhoids, they know what swelling is like. The idea is to shrink the tissues by shrinking the blood vessels. Now, I can't speak to the bottom part of our anatomy, but I can talk about the nose. And it does work. And it actually surprises me that FDA is considering to take it off the market because of efficacy. Safety is a different issue, and I have problems with the safety of this medication as a nasal spray or a nose drop because it can really get you addicted to it. Not like opium or cocaine, but you just need it all the time. And if you continue to use it, it becomes a vicious cycle. So taking it off for safety reasons would be satisfactory. But taking it off for efficacy, no, it works. It works if you have a really stuffy nose, like I do right now. I'm home suffering with COVID. And if I were to use it right now, I would get my nasal passages opened up very quickly. So I don't understand that, but it does have this side effect of literally hooking you on it. And if you just continue to use it, stop using it, your nose is all stuffed up. So there's some real odd things going on here. Benadryl, no, it's not in there. It's not in Sudafed. So I don't know what why those were singled out as well.
Yeah, in that headline, Sudafed PE is the only one that has phenylephrine, as I can pronounce it there. I wonder then, as the FDA is going to have this meeting, how does something like this play out? I mean, I imagine there are a lot of experts out there like you who say, no, there is a benefit to this. There obviously you counter that with some of the downsides of the drug, as you mentioned. How is that process then going to play out, and how do you see this sort of working itself out?
Well, it's an open meeting. Usually, they often will put them on cable TV or some TV live hookup, so people can look at it and see what's going on. But the panel is composed of experts throughout the country, physicians, maybe some pharmacists, chemists, people of that sort. And they come with, they're prepared. They prepared to discuss their positions, and they have pro or anti or very neutral positions. But they present their opinions at this meeting, and thereafter, FDA digests this. The decision is FDA's. So the expert panel is there as an advisory panel, but ultimately the decision as to what to do will be made in-house by the Food and Drug Administration, and I respect that. They usually do listen to their panels. I don't find that to be an issue.
Doctor, we were showing some video there of a lot of the different cold meds. Is the idea here that if phenylephrine, if they do decide here that it's not as effective, useless is the word that some were using, though you kind of countered against that. But if that's what happens and they decide this shouldn't be out there, it seems like there would be an awful lot of alternatives. Is that how we should look at this?
Well, there is one alternative that I'm surprised that they didn't consider to be bundled into this issue. Oxymetazoline, Afrin is the trade name, That works by the same mechanism. So I don't understand why only one drug of a class of drugs was singled out. Phenylephrine, not pseudoephedrine. Pseudoephedrine is the component of Sudafed. Bad things are often done with that when people buy it in large quantities. But that's not phenylephrine. And I don't see phenylephrine as being a safety issue with regard to using it to make illicit drugs. But efficacy, yeah, it works. I mean, do I favor it? No, I often avoid it, because once people start that process of using it and they get that immediate clearing of their nasal passages, they keep using over and over again, and that's unfortunately when people get hooked. It's a very complex issue here. It's very strange to me for them to be evaluating it for efficacy, for effectiveness. It works. For safety is a different issue. I'm not a big fan of that drug. Certainly not for nasal use. So there's some odd things going on here, and I think it'll be all resolved in the committee.
Yeah, well, we're going to continue to follow it as, again, this meeting's still a little ways off. We'd love to have you back on as we get sort of some clarity, because I think you bring up just excellent points there. Thank you so much, Dr. Stanley Schwartz, Professor and Chief in Allergy, Immunology, and Rheumatology with UB's Medical School. Phenylephrine, Dr. Schwartz, thank you very much.
My pleasure.